Gaetz issued something preemptively, apparently, on X, his Twitter account, in which he accused the committee of frivolous investigations. The committee acknowledged in their statement about what they are and are not investigating. There's a new statement out by the House Ethics Committee, which, by the way, is one of the only committees in Congress. They basically split the world in half. They said the sexual misconduct and illicit drug use into him and compared its tactics to the Soviet Union. He said, and I quote, "The House Ethics Committee has closed 4 probes into me."
Matt Gaetz, positioned as a prominent figure following Trump, holds a significant place in Trump's esteem due to their shared inclination toward legal issues. Like Trump, Gaetz faces a challenging time with the Ethics Committee, which shows no leniency towards accusations of misconduct involving a minor within Congress. Michael Popok delved into the intricate details of the case. On April 9, 2021, the House Ethics Committee released a statement announcing its initiation of a review into allegations against Representative Matt Gaetz. These allegations encompass potential sexual misconduct, illicit drug use, inappropriate dissemination of images or videos on the House floor, misuse of state identification records, conversion of campaign funds for personal use, acceptance of bribes or improper gifts, all purportedly violating House rules and standards of conduct. The committee will continue investigating claims that Gaetz engaged in sexual misconduct and illicit drug use, accepted improper gifts, granted special privileges to individuals with personal ties, and attempted to obstruct governmental investigations into his behavior. However, the committee ceased investigating allegations involving inappropriate images or videos on the House floor, misuse of state identification records, conversion of campaign funds for personal use, and acceptance of bribes or improper gratuities. During this period, a notable altercation between Kevin McCarthy and Matt Gaetz occurred. The committee, traditionally secretive, explained its decision to issue a detailed statement amidst ongoing investigations. This move was prompted by substantial and often inaccurate public reporting on the committee's activities during this Congress. While the committee's investigations are typically confidential, rules do not prohibit witnesses from discussing committee inquiries or conversations with investigators. The committee further disclosed that it had interviewed over a dozen witnesses, issued 25 subpoenas, and reviewed thousands of pages of documents related to the matter. Gaetz responded defiantly, dismissing allegations as falsehoods aimed at tarnishing his reputation. He criticized the Ethics Committee for initiating what he deemed frivolous investigations instead of collaborating on banning congressional stock trading. Gaetz claimed each investigation into him invariably ends with his exoneration. Referencing Kevin McCarthy, Gaetz accused him of baselessly pursuing charges against him. Gaetz affirmed his dedication to representing the interests of Northwest Floridians, unaffected by what he termed McCarthy's unwarranted attacks and his associates. The panel has reportedly contacted the woman alleged to have engaged in sexual relations with Congressman Matt Gaetz when she was a 17-year-old minor. Additionally, according to a source familiar with the committee's activities, efforts are underway to obtain information from the Department of Justice regarding its previously closed investigation into Gaetz, which did not result in charges. As CNN has previously covered, Gaetz has consistently denied any wrongdoing, including allegations of sexual relations with a minor or payment for sex. Prior to the Ethics Committee's announcement, Gaetz criticized the new investigations as frivolous, suggesting they are a tactic to sidestep the inevitable outcome that he claims every investigation into him results in exoneration. Gaetz, a vocal figure in efforts to remove former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, privately attributes the reinitiation of the committee's probe during McCarthy's tenure to the California Republican. He characterized this as reminiscent of Soviet tactics, stating, "Kevin McCarthy showed them the man and they are now trying to find the crime." Gaetz asserted his dedication to representing Northwest Floridians who he believes are undeterred by what he views as baseless allegations perpetuated by McCarthy and his supporters. In response, McCarthy has consistently denied Gaetz's accusations and suggested that Gaetz's efforts to remove him were motivated by the ongoing ethics investigation. The Justice Department, under then-Attorney General Bill Barr in late 2020, initiated an investigation into allegations that Gaetz had engaged in sexual relations with a minor. While this investigation expanded over time, the Justice Department ultimately decided not to pursue charges against Gaetz last year. As part of the broader inquiry, Joel Greenberg, a former Florida tax collector and close associate of Gaetz, pleaded guilty in 2021 to multiple federal charges, including solicitation and payment of a minor for sex, linked to the allegations involving Gaetz. The Ethics Committee, which was under Democratic control at the time, initially opened its investigation into Gaetz in 2021, publicly stating it was examining various allegations, including violations of sex trafficking laws, dissemination of inappropriate materials on the House floor, drug use, misuse of campaign funds, and acceptance of bribes, among other accusations. Last year, Matt Gaetz was compelled to provide sworn testimony in a civil lawsuit concerning his previous association with Joel Greenberg, the disgraced former Seminole County tax collector, and allegations of engaging in sexual relations with a teenage girl. Attorneys representing the woman referred to as AB in court documents issued a subpoena to Gaetz on Thursday. Scheduled for April 5th, Gaetz is set to testify and answer questions, though the subpoena, according to Laura Wolf, an attorney from Spark Justice Law in Colorado representing the woman, does not specify the topics of inquiry. ABC News first reported the issuance of the subpoena. They don't concern themselves with whether their representative behaves morally or ethically, engages in public corruption, denies the events of January 6th, disputes election results, or rejects charges of insurrection. None of that matters to them, and as these investigations progress, potentially prompting a reopening of the Justice Department's inquiry, or even criminal convictions, it doesn't matter. They simply believe what Gaetz asserts, and he has consistently denied these allegations before the committee, stated a committee spokesperson in a statement that also acknowledged the challenges in obtaining pertinent information from Gaetz. Despite this, the committee has interviewed over a dozen witnesses and issued 25 subpoenas, highlighting the growing public interest in the matter. The statement further outlined the timeline of the investigation into Gaetz. Initiated by the Ethics Committee in April 2021, the inquiry was temporarily halted at the request of the Justice Department following the conclusion of a lengthy sex trafficking investigation into Gaetz in February 2023, which concluded without charges being filed. The committee resumed its investigation in May 2023. The Justice Department's investigation, initiated during the final months of the Trump administration under then Attorney General William P. Barr, examined allegations including Gaetz's alleged sexual relationship with a 17-year-old, payments for sex, and arrangements for women to travel across state lines for illicit activities. Gaetz consistently denied any wrongdoing during this period. In September 2022, career prosecutors advised against charging Gaetz due to credibility concerns surrounding two key witnesses, as reported by the Washington Post. One of these witnesses was Joel Greenberg, a former associate of Gaetz and Seminole County tax collector, who pleaded guilty to charges including sex trafficking of a minor as part of a plea agreement in May 2021. A witness informed the House Ethics Committee that Gaetz paid her for sex, as reported by ABC News. Committee investigators have conducted numerous confidential interviews with women who were also subjects of the Department of Justice's sex trafficking inquiry into Matt Gaetz. Sources familiar with the matter disclosed that these interviews included at least 6 women who purportedly attended parties with Gaetz. Some of these women reportedly subpoenaed for the investigation, allegedly received payments from Joel Greenberg, a former close associate of Gaetz. Greenberg was sentenced to 11 years in federal prison in 2022 after pleading guilty to several charges, including sex trafficking of a minor and introducing the minor to other men. According to sources cited by ABC News, witnesses during these interviews were shown Venmo transactions allegedly linked to Gaetz and were asked if these payments were for sexual services. One woman confirmed that a payment from Gaetz was indeed for sex, while others indicated they were compensated for attending parties with Gaetz that involved drug use and sexual activities. Matt Gaetz has been a staunch supporter of former President Trump. In 2019, Gaetz, along with Chris Dorworth and Joel Greenberg, attended the annual Easter egg roll at the White House and posed for photographs with the president. Gaetz had previously referred to Greenberg as his wingman during their friendship. In a lawsuit, Dorworth accuses the defendants of establishing the Greenberg racketeering enterprise, alleging that their actions resulted in his job loss, damage to his reputation, and other consequences. The lawsuit details an incident where Greenberg reportedly confronted Dorworth and his wife, Rebecca, weeks after his initial arrest, demanding to know why they were not assisting him in securing a pardon. According to the lawsuit, Greenberg also approached Rebecca Dorworth at a luxury hotel, urging her to convince Gaetz and Chris Dorworth to aid him in obtaining a preemptive pardon from Trump, despite not having pleaded guilty to any charges at that time. Dorworth, who had briefly associated with Greenberg, also served as a representative for the Seminole County Tax Collector's Office from March 2017 to April 2018, as per county records. He subsequently worked as an $87,770 a year lobbyist with the national firm Ballard Partners. Dorworth clarified that he severed ties with Greenberg in 2020 when federal authorities commenced their investigation into the tax collector. Despite attempts to reach out for comment, neither Gaetz nor his office responded to inquiries from the Sentinel concerning the recent subpoena. Matt Gaetz entered Congress in 2017 and quickly rose as a divisive figure representing his staunchly Republican Panhandle district. In September of last year, he played a pivotal role in the removal of fellow Republican Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Gaetz's father, Don Gaetz, previously served as president of the Florida Senate from 2012 to 2014, concluding his legislative career in 2016. According to the New York Times, Gaetz has vehemently denied any acquaintance with the minor girl involved in the ongoing sex scandal investigation, which he contends is retribution for his involvement in McCarthy's ouster. The investigation into Gaetz commenced in late 2020 under the supervision of then U.S. Attorney General William Barr, following Joel Greenberg's cooperation with federal investigators. Gaetz has additionally asserted that the probe was part of an intricate plot to extort money from him and his affluent father, allegedly orchestrated by a former Justice Department official who offered to maintain silence in exchange for payment. Gaetz has publicly identified Dorworth as one of his closest friends and a key mentor in his legislative career.